Welcome to Open Comments with myself, Ash,
And me, Oliver.
a show that opens the conversation onto career advice, career journeys, lifelong learning, and more. Through this innovative podcast, we'll be offering insightful dialogues with an equal mix of humour and candour. Join us as we embark on an engaging conversational journey with a diverse set of guests from different walks of life. We hope you enjoy our show and look forward to bringing more topics into the fold for you through each episode. Let's dive in.
So this is a special episode today because we are recording from the Open Group Summit in Edinburgh. And today we have Pablo Perez, who's part of the Energistics Consortium, a non-profit global upstream oil and gas data standards consortium. So Pablo, please could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Sure, for sure. Thank you, Oliver, and thank you, Ash. Pleasure to be here and to share a little bit about why I'm here and what I've done with Energistics and the OSDU forum. My name is Pablo Perez. I'm originally from Venezuela. I was born in Caracas almost 50 years ago. I'm 49. And I've been in the oil and gas industry doing drilling data in the last 30 years. So I can summarize it like that. Started my career at PDVSA in 1994, doing software development. I'm a systems engineer and worked in software development for about 6 to 7 years. Then moved to the business development and selling software technology to manage drilling operations. Until 10 years ago, I decided to start my company, Badash, which focuses on providing top-notch solutions for aggregation, storage, drilling, completions, and energy in general terms.
Thank you. So, to start off with, please can you tell us about what made you get into Energistics and why you are passionate about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, as I mentioned before, 30 years doing drilling data. My daughter sometimes jokes, it's like, why so much time I'm doing the same thing? It's a passion because I've been able to see the evolution from handling pretty static data to seeing data streaming, started in the early stage streaming real time, to now everyone's talking about AI, ML, and machine learning, artificial intelligence. So how we fit that data, handle that data to produce ultimate results is critical. Now, why I'm mentioning that, how that connects with Energistics is Energistics is a consortium, not for profit, which focus on defining and regulating the standards for drilling data, production data, and reservoir data. So respectively, WITS-ML for drilling, PROD-ML for production, RescueML for reservoir. Now, what is important, I don't want to go too technical here, is like what these standards allow you to do is talking the same language. So move data from one software to another in a seamless manner. So for instance, I'm from Venezuela. If I started speaking Spanish here, we're going to have a problem if you speak a different language. If we were coming from completely different regions, the only way we have to communicate seamlessly is English. That's the role of the standards so far.
Yeah, we're quite well versed in the standard ourselves with the Open Group, and we're having conversations the last couple of days about AI and standards in AI. And there was a lot of importance on regulation and legislation. It seems equally as important, especially in the oil and gas industry, to have these standards for data. And what kind of experience have you got with the standards? Obviously, you've had quite a journey in your career throughout various different parts of the industry. But what are your thoughts on standards?
Standards are present everywhere in our day-to-day. And even here in the UK, the street you drive on the left, right? If you drive on the right, as in the US, you're going to have a problem. So standards are extremely important to run our lives. Now, for data handling, what you just mentioned, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and AI, it's extremely important to have access to the right data in a timely manner. And standards enable that communication, the transfer of data in a timely manner, right, effectively.
And can you tell us about any exciting updates within Energistics and what you are most looking forward to in the next coming months?
Yes, Energistics have gone through, I should have mentioned before, you asked me about how I got into started, so I'm going to connect that with this question. I started interacting with standards, the drilling data standards from Energistics, formerly POSC, before then, before 2000, in 2004. 2007, I joined the first WITML or Energistics meeting in France, in Paris. And I was impressed then by the amount of bright brains in the room. I say, oh my goodness, this is almost like intimidating. So one thing that I'm passionate about with Energistics is like how it brings, disregarding your company and competition or anything, brings everyone together for a common purpose, which is like developing the best possible standard to have everyone communicate effectively. Over the years, I participated with Energistics in different roles as a volunteer until today. I been sitting at the board of Energistics for 2.5 years. And what I'm looking at in this event is the evolution after Energistics transition from completely independent consortium. The transition happened in January 2022 when it became a consortium under the umbrella of the Open Group. So it's been an interesting transition the last 2 years with expectable ups and downs. I can say very happily now that we are settled, and this event is a great opportunity to see the latest standards being adopted naturally and fluently among not only Energistics community members, but also OSDU. It's a bigger audience, it's a bigger challenge now. Again, we mentioned before AI, and we play that role of making sure the data can be brought to anyone in a timely manner. So I'm pretty excited to see many operators, service companies, and software vendors getting in the same room, talking about the latest needs and how the standards are helping them today. It's not like they're going to help them. It's like how they're helping them today and where they want to take them in the next few months. Sometimes it's like one of the conversations yesterday morning, or the presentations. They're talking about a year ago, the spring meeting in London with the Open Group. The discussion about AI was like, it's going to happen. Well, only 1 year later, it is happening. We can't ignore it. It is happening. So it's a pretty exciting time for the pace of how things are changing.
Yeah, you mentioned something. I was going to ask you, what makes Energistics what it is, but you mentioned everyone comes under one umbrella to meet for a common goal. It's similar to the Open Group with open standards. But with the topic of AI, everyone is jumping at it. And what kind of conversations are you having to do with OSDU or Energistics and standards within the energy sector?
Right. One of the conversations is like how the standards are leveraged within the OSDU platform. We're having a meeting this afternoon, which I hope to see a lot of people, not only from the Energistics community, but also from OSDU. We're going to be meeting with the OSDU real-time group to discuss how we can leverage the Energistics Transfer Protocol, ETP, to move data in real time in and out of OSDU. So that's a very strategic conversation for both communities, OSDU and Energistics. So I'm really excited about that. For several years, the real-time group at OSDU was considering other protocols like Kafka. However, for the need to go to remote locations and move data straight from remote locations to town servers and cloud servers, ETP seems to be the very best option. Cost efficiently, moving high frequency data, and among other things, increasing security. So it's a very exciting time in that respect for what we're going to be seeing this afternoon.
Yeah, it's certainly been an exciting topic of conversation for the other areas of industry at the Open Group event, but it's the common theme that I took up from yesterday was to use it safely and securely and make sure you're using AI correctly rather than just jumping on it and potentially harming results in the long run.
Correct. That's a very good point, and you asked part of the previous question also is, what is the role of the standards with AI? Helping bring the right data in a timely manner to audience and consumers, right? So, to me, the principle of being able to move data talks about being able to access the right data set. And otherwise, for AI, it's critical to have the right data. Otherwise, garbage in, garbage out. So in that respect, our role, I think, is like sometimes seen as probably small, but it's very high impact. And we're working hard as the Energistics community to integrate better with the OSDU community, so standards can be better leveraged to facilitate data exchange.
Great.
And staying on the topic of AI, what fascinates you the most about it? Like when you first heard about AI, what were your initial thoughts about it?
Oh, what's fascinating to me right now, it's just like it's happening now. And it was before, it's like, hey, that's the future. It's like, oh, we watched 20, 30 years ago, Back to the Future. So you don't expect, to witness, to be part of that. So to me, the most fascinating is happening now. In every single thing that we're doing now, it's involved. So I saw a lot of presentations, very great presentations, yesterday's sessions. The majority of PowerPoint and slides had some graphic production using AI. So it's fascinating, it's here. I think it's here to stay. We also need to be cautious. So the second thing that fascinates me a lot is that AI will not replace human being. It's going to change the way we work. So I recently posted something in LinkedIn, say like, use AI or die. Your business, whatever your business is, you need to leverage that or you're going to be left behind. Now, how to do that? We're in the early stage. To me, is that we have to be very careful with how we handle AI tools, how we trust them, how we train models, and ultimately how we apply it or deploy it in our day-to-day life. So it's a very exciting time. It's also risky. My 2 cents advice is like, take your time to plan carefully how you're going to use AI. Be intentional. Always say, be you as an organization. What is your purpose? How you see it happening, disregarding what your competition and what anybody else is doing, how you can leverage. But please do not ignore it. That would be my advice.
Yeah, it's certainly a new technology. I know it's been around for a number of years in one form or another, but it's certainly, how do we use this new technology and how do we use it responsibly? But I guess going back a little bit to your career journey, from where you started to, I know you mentioned that you formed your own business. Could you just take us a bit through your career journey in a bit more detail? Sure, that'd be a pleasure. Just I'll repeat that just because of the silence, but
yeah,
Of course, thank you.
yeah. I'll just start the career journey bit. Okay. Could you just take us a bit through your career journey from where you started to forming your own business and then everything after that? How did you originally get into the energy industry?
Sure. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, oil and gas country.
Yeah.
That's the main source of business and income in the country. So back in the early 90s when I picked my career as a systems engineer, we were still kind of like wondering how I can connect to that, but everyone's like, oh, we want to work for PDVSA, the national oil company in Venezuela. which was at the very top of NOCs back then. We go through very challenging times, so that's not the subject today, but it's not the same PDVSA. Back then it was very challenging to get involved, very competitive. A lot of international companies as well as the local talent were very competitive, so it was challenging to get in. I was fortunate to get in and start developing software using drilling data, so help desk, and different applications to support the operation. In 2002, I went international and I started focusing more on commercializing software technology, and learned a lot, had a lot of success, also failures. And my father was an entrepreneur, so I always had that in me. And I decided 10 years ago to start my own business. I saw the market completely different, and I thought, just like everyone is trying to do everything, my vision for the company was, when I said everything is in our space, is data aggregation, storage, visualization, analytics, engineering tools, geosteering, and so on. I thought that would not be a good formula for the future, looking at how much technology and how much data we were dealing with and how we're growing. Now we're growing exponentially in that space. So my vision was to be like that, to build a company, to be that trusted source of data. Looking at so many powerful analytics engines and engineering tools, wow, it is the key. It's probably not the most funky these days to say we gather that data, we have to use the standards, but it's absolutely critical to make AI work and all those analytics be efficient and useful for our operations. So that was my vision, still our vision, and it's giving us delivering after all these years. We go through hell too. Very hard times sometimes. Even after COVID, COVID we did very well. We got overconfident and we went through challenging times, but we're now reaping the fruit of our efforts. The results, and the company has positioned very well as that, trusted source for data. And our vision is just not to only restrict us to do drilling and completion, but also production and expanding the energy sector. Now, the role that the Energistics and OSDU standards play in what we do are essential. I don't want to exaggerate, but we wouldn't be able to exist without the standards. So that's how important that is for us, and that's how I'm so passionate. I'm seeing different generations going through Energistics. Bright people that now are retired. Some of them are no longer with us. It's amazing also seeing the new generation and being that bridge to bring everyone together. This, like if I talk to people 10, 15 years younger than me, they have a completely different mindset. They understand AI much better than me, I would dare to say. But also that legacy knowledge and the knowledge that is required now, this industry is key. So that's what makes me very passionate about this, how we embrace the standards, how we contribute and want to make sure that we're always adding value in that space. So at the same time, that has a very positive impact on our company. And I also enjoyed, dealing with people super smart, learning from them and contributing my 2 cents.
And staying on that track of learning, what are your views on lifelong learning? What does it mean for you to continuously learn? Maybe it's adopting a new skill, maybe it's learning from others, maybe it's both. How important of a role does lifelong learning play in your life?
Great question. I am convinced we have to be, especially in this age with AI, learning constantly. And my advice would be learn the way it's more effective for you. For me, for example, I'm a very visual person. I need to interact with people. So coming to events like the OSDU and Energistics face-to-face meeting are essential. And interact, see, watch, read. I'm probably not the best at reading and reading books, but some people are. My wife is. So that's more effective for them. So what I would advise is be honest with yourself, Whether it's like you need to get professional training, go through courses, that's definitely very important. Get plugged into the right community and follow your passion. Some people, I was always also there in that place when you're deciding your career, you say, well, I want to go where I can make more money. My advice is like, what is success? Do what makes you happy. Happiness. You can make very little money and be extremely happy, and you can be very rich and be very unhappy with what you're doing. It's almost like, oh, it's work. Good friend of mine, she's CTO for a major global transportation company, very well known. I'm not gonna slow. And I'm impressed. I mean, how much money she makes, but she's not in love with the job. She's just very good, but she's not in love with the job. I love what I do. So do what makes you happy, and happiness to me equals success.
Do you think as well there's a lot more longevity, I think as well, right? In terms of if you're doing as best as you can more of what you love, although obviously it's still work, I think you're fueling more, or you're fusing more of your personality into what you do, that a lot of the time it can feel more, you adapt to it more, right? Because work can be stressful at times and it can be quite manic, but if you're passionate about what you do, you can kind of coordinate that balance. And sometimes work doesn't feel so much as work, but you know that, you're reaching a certain cause, you reach a certain milestone, maybe you're doing it with people, it's collaborative, but you're part of that community, and that can also help with the, longevity of what you do.
So, fantastic point. Get around the right people, the people that are gonna push you hard and very competitive. So get around the people that are gonna make you feel even better, if you can, as much as you can take, right? People have different personalities and need to be pushed. So as you're saying, if you're passionate about something, you can extend your longevity in your career and also evolve quickly by being around the right people, getting the right training. I had, one of my personal professional targets was Venezuela, and I was very proud of the university I went to, Universidad Metropolitana in Venezuela. But I also had, a big target in my life. Like, I want to try what is going to a big deal university, either Stanford or Oxford in the UK or Harvard. And God gave me the opportunity in 2013 to take an executive program from Stanford. And I can tell you, it was, of course, you can tell money-wise expensive, but it was priceless in terms of like 50% the connections, big deal connections, and then the mindset. Of course, then after those two, I would say, the knowledge was great. I mean, I did a digital marketing executive program. By the way, it's not now outdated with all the new trends and stuff, but it was very important. Still today, in contact with people, for example, I met people that now work for Google or work for Intel. So it's that combination and staying passionate about what you do. And I can close this comment with, like, yesterday I had a very active day in the OSDU sessions. Everything was going on very well until the US kicked off operations 6 hours, in the early afternoon here in the UK. We had the OSDU dinner, came back to the hotel, and I had to work for 4 hours catching up with operations. I'm going to bed almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I woke up very pumped this morning because I'm motivated, right? So that's what keeps you going and coming. So that's, again, my recommendation: get around the right people and enjoy, really get passionate. That extends and help. Be willing to adapt, not to last. Things are moving very quickly.
Exactly that. You kind of touched on it, but the learning doesn't stop. After your university in Venezuela, then you went to Stanford, but you're still learning now. Some people might say, I've got my degree or my qualification. I'm qualified now. I don't need to learn. I need to work now. But part of working and staying on top of what you love and love what you do is to constantly learn. And there's new trends coming up every year, it seems, and you have to keep teaching yourself, keep learning. And I think that's how you stay active and longevity in what you do. And it's nice to see that there are people that think the same way as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as you said, I'm still learning. every day. I mean, I can tell you, I mean, on some of those sessions, I can be intimidated by the depth of knowledge and the capacity from people there. But it's just learning from me. So it's another piece of advice there. I mean, fear is not bad. It just depends how you handle that. So if you feel intimidated, go and confront it and learn. That's a very good driver, rather than freezing.
Would you say that you had any fears when you started your business? Obviously, that's a big step for a lot of people to make.
It's a fear that never goes away, because I have a family that I have to provide for, and business has no mercy, right? So you can be doing very well. Sometimes you're gonna go very bad or do very badly, although you did your very best. So that fear though keeps me coming, and every day is a motivation to say I have to defeat this, I have to do this. So absolutely, I mean, I thank my dad because he was an entrepreneur and risk taker, and we had several failures in the last 10 years. The company evolved. We started doing something very different, consulting and crude hydration consulting, and different jobs for NOCs in Latin America. Ended up going back to the standards and digital space. It's just because going back to what we said before, that's my true passion. That's who we are, right? So, that fear is going to be there always, but if those who have that desire to start something, do it. Just do the right planning. Don't be afraid to do it. That's what I'm going to tell some people. It's like, you will never have the perfect plan, but plan carefully. What you want to do, take the time and don't deceive yourself. I mean, it needs to make sense.
Absolutely. So what about for those looking to come into the oil and gas industry now? Either, they've just graduated or they're looking for a career change. What advice would you give to them?
One, I want to stand up for the oil and gas. It's been wrongly demonized, in my opinion, because we all love our environment. And yes, there's been issues, but there are also issues in other energies too. We need a diversified portfolio in energies. We need new energies. We also need oil and gas. So give yourself a chance to get to know the oil and gas industry. It is fascinating the type of challenges we have. It's fascinating how much work companies and people, individuals, because everything goes down to people, how much passion and dedication people put on taking care of human life, security, environment, and figure out how you can contribute to that. Again, we need renewables. We also need oil and gas, and the combination of that is what ramps up the future.
Now, before we wrap things up, is there any other questions that we'd like to get through, or would you like to present your social feeds, or is there a website that people can, check out? LinkedIn, can they follow you on?
Sure. I mean, you go and find me in LinkedIn, Pablo Perez. We can share a link later on. Also happy to share, if people want to know more about Energistics, share the energistics.org website. And of course, I'm happy to talk to entrepreneurs or, even potential, clients or operators, service companies that would like to work with us. Feel free to reach out. Go to our website, badass.com. And also just feel free to reach me out over LinkedIn. So, happy to share all that and share my experience with people and also learn from you guys. So it's like a mutual benefit when you connect with people. So
it's brilliant. Well, thank you, Pablo, for joining for this episode today. It's been great hearing about you, your career journey, the advice you've given us, and your involvement, especially within the Energistics Consortium. So we hope to our listeners or the open comments community to take a lot from this episode, as much as we have. So thank you, and until next time, stay safe and keep a lookout for more episodes coming soon.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Ash.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.